Have you ever wondered how the Wolf of Wall Street created a firm successfully selling to professionals, business owners, and accredited investors? If so, that is the subject of this video, part 2 of the series. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, it's Brett from Brett Tech Train. Today's video is going to go through in depth the straight line method as introduced in the last video, which is the sales method that Jordan Belfort has said is his bread and butter, his raison d'etre, his reason for success is the straight line method, and I'm going to teach it to you right now. I have a diagram and it's showing the straight line method. Here we have the straight line. Here we have the different components of the straight line method. The urgency, the story, relationship and self, company, and at the end handling objectives. And if you do all of that and stay on the straight line more often than not, you will get a sale. We also have a boundary, which in a sales interaction a lot of times will get taken off the straight line into the boundary, and at some point in time we need to very delicately but sometimes firmly get the interaction back on the straight line. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So the first thing is urgency. And in Jordan's recent writings, he says you have 4 to 5 seconds to basically get someone's attention and get them to listen to you. And in order to do that, you need to be sharp as a tack, enthusiastic, and present yourself as an expert in the field. So what we used to do is basically the idea here is when you get someone on the phone, you need to act like they're the first person that you're calling, that you're getting on the phone with after you heard a big secret. So a lot of times is, I just got out of a meeting and we're working on this exceptional situation on the New York Stock Exchange on such and such a stock, and we believe it's looking to move. Let me tell you why. So it was something like that. And a lot of times, even if the person wasn't interested, they would stay to at least listen to the story. Now, the story's got to be well told. We were trained to tell the story enthusiastically, dramatically, giving a background on the company, giving a background on the situation, and giving details as far as why it's a good buy, why we think it's a better buy, given this specific situation, what we used to call catalyst, like an FDA approval or a new patent being signed or new technology, something like that. So once you get through the story and you get to the first close right here, you basically, at the close, you're quiet. So you basically say something like, I suggest you pick up 1,000 shares of XYZ stock. It's at $30 a share. That's $30,000. What do you say? And then you just leave it as dead air. Now, this is a point where you need to listen, because if there's someone that's used to putting $100,000 on an idea, $30,000 won't sound like a big deal. But if they're not used to putting that much money on an idea, then you're going to need to take that into consideration as the interaction goes on. So if they don't bucket through to $30,000, then you know if you could sell them on the other elements, such as the relationship, yourself, and the company, and you can deftly handle objections, you have a chance at getting the sale. So whatever the reaction after the first close, the first thing you want to understand, and the first question that you ask is, do you like the idea? Does the idea make sense? 9 times, 8 times, a very high percentage of times, they will say yes. Or at least in my experience, they said yes. It's a New York Stock Exchange traded item. It's a fairly safe company. And now we have a catalyst that might propel it further. So once you get them to say that they like the idea, basically the story and idea are off the table. They're considered closed. You don't worry about them anymore. You don't go and revisit them. You don't use them later on in the interaction. Now you need to go and sell them on a relationship and yourself. So we used to say, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I know if you give me this one shot and I make you money, then we'll continue. If I make you a good amount of money, then I'll have a client for life. And then we would sell ourselves. We would say, well, let me take a step back. You know my name, but you don't know about me. Let me tell you about me. Basically, I plan on being the biggest broker here at Stratton Oakmont. I'm not going to get there by trading New York Stock Exchange stocks, working on small amounts, executing small trades. But in an effort to establish a relationship, let's do this. Let's do 500 shares. It's $15,000. Obviously, you stand to make less if the stock moves higher, but it'll be a token for a relationship in the future. What do you say? Then again, you listen and you handle some objections if they come up. So they might bring you off the straight line here. At this point, they may say, well, you know what? Give me a call back later. Typical. And here we used, looking back on it, it's a little silly, but pricing and timing. Pricing and timing are my only tools in the market. If you take them away, I'm no better than Charles Schwab. Let's do the 500 shares. Judge me on the performance. We'll go bigger next time. Fair enough? That kind of thing. Now you got to get them back on to the company. So I told you I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I told you about myself and my ambitions as far as my career. Why would you want to deal with my company? My company's an investment banking firm. We work on 2 to 3 small items over the year, generally initial public offerings, bridge loans, those sorts of situations. Not going to come to you every day, not going to come to you every week, not going to come to you every month. By the way, all lies. Sorry. But when I do come to you, I expect you to listen. After that, you go to handling objections. Basically, we had a whole book of objections and ways to counter objections, such as I need to talk to my wife. Oh, come on, when your wife buys your, fur for $30,000, I'm sure she doesn't give you a call. You don't need to call your wife. Let's do this. Pick up the 500 shares. Again, a token. Benchmark for a future relationship. So you're always going back onto the line, always trying to close whenever you're handling an objection and get yourself further to the sale. So this is the way it worked at Stratton Oakmont. Jordan, in his recent writings, has said that he's revised it. He's taken the high pressure sales elements out of it, and he's going around promoting it. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to take this straight line method and we're going to apply it to your tech career plan. So stay tuned for that. If you like the video, like it, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now. This is Brett from Brett Tech Train, signing off and wishing you a good one. Bye for now.